This is me skate off the hill. Only take off anyway.
Sign award. Alrighty, now as we say here at Harambe Twin Day, which means let's go. My name is Nick and I'm going to be your safari driver. How's everyone doing today? It's good? Excellent. If you guys take a look above you, there's an animal spotting guide. Now we may not see every single one of those animals, but I do assure you by the end of our trip we'll see at least one. If anyone has any cameras, I recommend swapping it over to the action or sports setting, whichever you may have. And please make sure you remain seated at all times to hang on tightly to everything. It's a bumpy ride, I don't want anyone falling and getting hurt. And if something happens to fall off the vehicle, I'm not going to be able to stop to retrieve it. But let me know, I'll call it in and someone will try and get it afterwards. That being said, by the time someone tries to go out there and get it, an animal may end up finding it first. So just make sure you hang on to everything tightly, because you might not get it back in the same piece if you do drop it. Children, they are more than welcome to sit in your laps, but they do need to remain seated in your laps, so please don't have them standing up, and please do not try holding them up. And lastly, there are wild animals out there, and want to be able to respect that, so please no whistling or catcalling any of the animals. That's going to cover all of our safety stuff. We're just going to hang tight for a few moments and let that truck get some room. In the meantime, since we're hanging out up here, are there any animals people are excited to try and find right now? Lions. And that's it, okay. You all sound so excited. Alright, well, first part of our trip, we're going to be making our way into the Little Terry Forest. Make sure you keep a sharp eye out. These animals' natural hides do help them blend into their surroundings.
Bring the cord for that wrist. If I plugged it into the charging, I'd have no problem.
Alright, now take a look on the right-hand side, because there is an animal moving around already. That animal over there is the okapi. The okapi was not discovered until 1901 by the Western world. Now, they have stripes on their legs and backsides quite similar to zebras, but they're not related to the zebras at all. In fact, that's the only known living relative to the giraffe. Some similarities they have with the giraffes, they've got these internal horns known as ossicles. They are horns on top of their heads that will not protrude out of their skin, and they've got long, flexible purple tongues that they can use to grab and pull down leaves off of trees. Their tongues are so long that if they really wanted to, they'd be able to lick their own eyeballs. Right? Alright, now there's going to be more animals. They're straight ahead of us, so they're going to be on this next hill. And there's two different kinds of animals here. You're going to see ones with gray fur and white stripes. Those are the greater kudu. The ones with the orange fur and white stripes are the bongos. The greater kudu are the second tallest antelope in the world. These ones here are females. They're a little bit smaller. You can tell, though, because they don't have any horns. Only the male kudu will end up growing horns. As for the bongos, they're known as the ghosts of the forest because they're very rarely ever seen, and their horns will all grow twisted and backwards, help keep them from getting caught in the brush and shrub as they move about. But take a look to our left-hand side. He's a little bit further back, but there's a rhino over there. That's going to be one of the black rhinos. They can weigh up to around 3,000 pounds, and they can charge around 35 miles an hour. Sadly, though, they're endangered animals. Hundreds of thousands of them have been poached for their horns. Many cultures believe the rhino horn can cure just about any disease, including cancer. But their horns are made up entirely of keratin, and that's the same stuff that makes up our own hair and fingernails. So in the end of the day, they're really being poached for nothing more than a few hair and nail clippings. That's pretty sad. Alright, well, we are going to be making our way out of the forest, and we're going to head on over to Safi River. And Safi River, it is home to animals such as the crocodiles.
One of these days I am going to have to do that. We get to walk across the bridge over the crocodile.
Oh, I see hippos. Alright, straight ahead of us, they're napping at the end of the rock wall there.
That metal thing right there, you could attach to it.
And this is actually pretty rare. We don't normally get to see hippos out of water like this. Hippos usually only leave water for a little bit to graze, and then they head right back inside. Weather's not too bad right now, which is why they're napping outside of it, but normally they nap in the water as well. Fully grown, they can weigh up to about 5,500 pounds, and they eat about 90 pounds of vegetation a day. The birds nesting on the island to our left are the pink-backed pelicans. They get their names from the pink-backs they have during mating season and the living groups known as pods of around 30 of them. Now, I do see another hippo about 11 o'clock from us. Real quick though, I'm going to need everyone to stay quiet when we pass by that hippo, because if you look very carefully, there's a baby hippo right next to her.
The one I was telling you about.
You see where all the vultures are standing? Right behind the vultures, the little one's resting.
Right up there, he's laying under the belly.
See it over there?
See under the belly? The little tiny pink thing?
It's so little.
Keep looking, you can see one of the
to get used to
zoological people.
time. But continue looking on the left, because over there you're also going to see the Nile
Right
crocodile.
up there is what you get
Now,
to
the Nile crocodile, these guys can go to around 18 to 20 feet long. That is as long as a giraffe is tall, and they weigh around 500 pounds. They have incredibly powerful jaws. They have a crushing force of around 2,000 pounds per square inch, which is more than enough to break the bones of their prey. And on top of that, they're decently fast. They can sprint around 10 miles an hour on land and are even faster in the water. It's not fast enough to catch most animals, so instead they're ambush predators. A lion waits until an animal comes close enough for them to strike, and if they were to remain completely motionless, they could stay underwater for around 2 hours before they would need to come up for a breath of air. All in all, they are pretty impressive, but a little bit scary, so we're going to be making our way out of the river, and we're heading on over to the Serengeti grasslands. This tree that's going to end up on our right-hand side, this is the baobab tree. The baobab tree will go leafless about 9 months out of the year to help conserve water, and it's also known as the upside-down tree because the branches look a lot like roots.
Good luck, that's me.
These grasslands, they stretch hundreds of miles through eastern Africa. It is the superhighway for millions of migrating animals, and some animals such as the giraffes, who are all just straight ahead of us, as well as the elephants.
They do
This
have
is the
real
wild
ones
Africa
inside
we're trying
the
to
park,
preserve
but
today.
that one is actually fake.
Giraffes, fully grown, are around 18 to 20 feet tall. That is taller than our truck, and baby giraffes at birth are already about 6 feet in height. And if you ever see a group of giraffes like this, it is known as a tower.
Now I need to find the elbow tag.
Oh, damn, I'm just going to sleep.
There are quite a few other animals hanging out alongside the giraffes, though. You're going to see the wildebeest. It's a large herd of gray animals. There's going to be the little springbok. They're the ones with the orange tops and white bellies. And a bit further back behind the springbok, you're going to see the Ankole cattle. Now, wildebeest make up the largest land animal migration in the world. They will migrate for their entire lives, following around the rain, and from the day they're born, they're already capable of walking and running. By the end of the week, they'll be strong enough and fast enough to keep up with the entire herd. But that being said, wildebeest only get about 15 minutes to learn how to walk. If it takes them too much longer than that, the parents will end up leaving them. As for the springbok, fully grown, they're only about 3 feet tall. That's as big as they get. But they are some of the faster land animals. They can reach speeds of around 55 miles an hour, and they can do that while pronking. So instead of straight up running, they start to bounce up and down as they move. Again, they can maintain those high speeds, and they clear about 12 feet with each bounce. Lastly, the Ankole back there, their horns on average will grow to be around 4 feet long and 21 inches around the base. They're also known as the Watusi cattle after the indigenous tribe that domesticated them. Their horns act as their cooling systems. They have a honeycomb structure on the inside which allows blood to flow in and out of their horns, helps to regulate their body temperature, and it can cool them off about 10 degrees.
Not usually warthogs. Hyena. No, the hyenas would be closer to a lion.
The animals with the brown fur and long horns on our left-hand side, those are the sable antelope. The sables are the emblem of our reserve. Their horns grow to be around 5 feet long, and rather than running away from predators like most other animals would, they use their horns to defend themselves. They just form up a circular ring and fight off anyone that tries to come after them.
We get a baby
Now,
giraffe
again on
running
our
like we did
left-hand
that
side,
one time.
though, you can see some animals with tan fur and V-shaped horns over by that little watering hole. Those are the Patterson eland. The elands are some of the larger antelope. Fully grown, the males will weigh around 2,000 pounds, and the females, they will weigh around 1,400 pounds. Despite that, from a standing position, they can jump around 6 to 8 feet straight up into the air.
I'm like watching the driver the whole time.
Alright, so we'll get a pretty decent view of the giraffe on our right-hand side, but we'll be getting an even better one a little bit further up ahead.
Most of the time, I'm just staring at the driver.
If you remember me talking about the similarities with the giraffes and the okapis, it's a lot more obvious here with the giraffes. Again, they have those ossicones on their heads. They are internal horns that do not protrude out of their skin because it's actually a part of their skull. And the giraffe tongue is about 18 inches long.
Sticky.
They can use it to just reach up into the trees and pull the leaves back down into their mouths.
More giraffe right there.
Alright, so again, nice view of the giraffes. I like the giraffe here on our left. He's like half scratching his head with the tree and then trying to eat the food at the same time. Look at that. Oh, that's funny. I also like the giraffe that's just staring at us straight in front of us.
He was just staring us down.
What's up, buddy? A few more giraffes ahead of us still. Ooh, I see an elephant. Alright, elephant straight ahead of us. It's gonna be one of the African elephants, largest land mammals in the world. Fully grown, they can weigh up to about 13,000 pounds. Oh, and I also see a monkey on our left. Chilling on the rocks right past the tree. That's gonna be one of the mandrills. They're the most colorful monkeys in the world. And oh, there's a baby monkey. It found something it's playing with. Oh, it found a mouse. Okay, moving on.
He's eating it.
That is not a toy.
Mickey.
It looks so proud of itself too.
Mickey was visiting it. Took a wrong turn.
Alright, well, it doesn't look like we're going to get much more of a view of that elephant. Well, it's kind of behind us. But I'm going to keep on going for now. That one is one of the males, and eventually the males will live alone. After they turn around 13 to 15 years old, they leave their herds and live the rest of their lives off by themselves. But he's not big enough to be on his own just yet. And during the day, as the males grow up, they start to spend more and more time away from the herds, kind of just venturing off a little bit on their own, but they'll join up with them again towards the end of the night. So the rest of his family can't be too far away. I'm just gonna go ahead and look for them. Now, unfortunately for the males, though, because they live alone, they have much shorter lifespans. The females, on average, live to be about 48 years old in the wild, but the males typically only live to be around 24. Because they're alone, they're easier targets for predators and poachers alike. On top of that, they're constantly competing with each other for territory. If you take a look on either side of us, you can see some tusk marks in the red clay. I think I see another elephant in the distance on our left. Elephants like to eat red clay, provides valuable minerals for them, kind of like a giant vitamin. But sadly, elephants are being poached for their tusks. So in an effort to protect them, we've invited animal researchers here. They are here studying the elephants' vocal patterns, so we can try and understand their needs in order to better help them survive. One of the things that we've learned is that elephants really do not like bees. So much so, they'll warn each other if there's a beehive in the area, that way they can avoid it. And because of that, farmers in Africa now line up their crops with beehive posts. Helps to keep the elephants away from farms and human settlements altogether, which is safer for everyone. It also gives the farmers a new crop of honey. Oh, look at the baby elephant go! Run, elephant, run! Where is she going? Behind the rocks, okay. The little elephant over there, she might look tiny compared to the others, but she already weighs over 800 pounds. What are you doing? Oh man. Did it fall over? Or... I think it just gave up. Oh, that is fantastic. Alright, well, straight ahead of us, there's going to be a group of greater flamingo. The greater flamingo are the tallest and palest species of all the flamingos. They get the pink color from the brine shrimp they eat, which is high in beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is the same stuff, but if we have too much of it, we'll end up turning orange. And if you ever see a group of flamingos like that, it is known as a flamboyance. Looks like the elephant's finally getting up, though. Hey, doo-doo. Those are still the same elephants. Oh, check this out. We see some rhinos over here. Oh, they're crossing the road. Alright, we're gonna hang tight real quick. We got some rhinos crossing the road. The other animals spooked these rhinos. There's also an ostrich in the road. Yes, ostrich are always in the road. They're awful. Alright, so white rhinos in front of us. They can weigh up to around 5,000 pounds, charge 35 miles an hour. If you ever see a group of rhinos, it's known as a crash. But the white rhino, their name was a mistranslation. Originally, they were known as the white rhino. White in Afrikaans means wide. They were named after their wide, squarish mounts. But when it was translated over to English, they mistook the word white for white and called them the white rhino instead. And minor update, so the ostrich has now turned around and started walking towards the vehicle. You see him? Yeah. Alright, it got out of the way. Oh wait, there was a second one. I'm not a fan of the ostrich, they kind of creep me out. Ostrich are the largest birds in the world. They stand at around 9 feet tall, and they can run around 40 miles an hour. They're the fastest animals on 2 legs. On the bright side, they can't fly because that'd be terrifying, but their bones are solid like ours. Most other birds have hollow bones, it's what allows them to be light enough to fly. But this is a fantastic view of the rhinos right now. Check this out. Hey guys, how you doing? Now, the other animals that were walking on our right-hand side with the brownish fur, those were the bontebok. And sadly, the bontebok can no longer be found in the wild. Between human agricultural expansion, as well as being poached for their hides, they almost went extinct. And at one point in time, there was only 17 left of them in the world before farmers came together to try and protect the remaining few. Now, they are doing well again on reserves, but it'll still be many years before we'll be able to properly reintroduce them back into the wild. And now for the fastest land animals, take a look on our left-hand side. There are some cheetah on the hill. About 9 o'clock. They're just laying down in the shade. Cheetah are the fastest. Again, they can sprint around 60 to 70 miles an hour. They can keep that pace for about a quarter of a mile. They've got excellent vision during the day, and as such, they're some of the only daytime hunters that you're going to find here in Africa.
Can't reserve There's my camera can zoom. That's one of the things I couldn't see.
They kind of blend in.
The lion.
Ruby's out coming out.
You'd think it was cold enough weather he would be somewhere. Oh, last one I got a good shot of him. Or not last time before.
Alright, so we're going to see the Bondbach and the ostrich again ahead of us. So we're going to keep on going for now. But take a look on our left-hand side because there are some lions on the rocks. There's one pretty close to us. Fortunately, she's facing away. Lions are nocturnal animals. They're most active during the evenings. When it comes to hunting, it's the females that'll do most of the hunting. The male's job is to stay back in order to defend the territory and protect the rest of the pride.
I see him.
Young male too.
Oh, there's another female.
Well, it is a mating program. There's a warthog.
Alright, now straight ahead of us there is a warthog. Warthogs are the largest burrowing mammals. Oftentimes they'll use another animal's burrow in order to start their own. Whenever they go into their burrows though, they go in backwards. That way they can have their tusks facing out to defend themselves if they need to. Alright, and the ostrich is once again in the red. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, look at that!
Feeding time.
Normally I'd stop for them, but I don't like them. They scare me.
This thing's got a decent stabilizer on it.
Now the birds that are going to be right next to us on our right hand side, those are the yellow-billed
It's actually
storks.
making this
The
yellow
yellow-bills are carnivorous birds. They'll eat just about anything small enough to fit inside of their bills, including fish, frogs, and other smaller birds. When they go looking for food, they like to follow after hippos, because when hippos move through the water, they'll stir up all the mud and dirt, causing all the fish to scatter. It makes it a lot easier for them to find their food.
How's the ending scene for
These animals are all amazing, but we do have to play our part in protecting them and keeping them safe. Things as simple as recycling old electronics can have a huge impact. Electronics often contain a material known as coltan, and coltan is primarily mined in these animals' homes. So by recycling, we can reduce the amount of coltan that we need and thereby stop invading their homelands. But we are at the end of the reserve, so I'm going to be dropping you off at the nearest warden's post. Take the time now to look around you, see if anything might have fallen out of your pockets, and if there are any wilderness explorers on board, you've been riding the simple one. That is SIMBA and the number 1. If you'd like to see more animals, head on over to Gorilla Falls. Over there you can see the lowland gorillas and some meerkats. You can also take a trip over to Rafiki's Planet Watch, where you can meet Rafiki himself and go to the animal affection section, where you can see and pet some of the animals. And if you make your way over to Asia, you can do the Maharaj Jungle Trek. And there you'll see some of the Asian animals, such as the Komodo dragon and the tiger. And if you're really lucky, there were some tiger cubs that were born not too long ago. You might get a chance to see them. Now it is time for you guys to head on out. Here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye. It's a little sad. So instead, we say Kwaherini, and Kwaherini means to go well. So Kwaherini, everyone. I hope you guys had a fantastic time and have a wild rest of your day here in the Animal Kingdom. Ciao, Mike. Hold it. Have a good one, everybody. Make sure you guys take everything with you. Glasses, wallets, phones, children, parents, loved ones, the ones you like as friends, you love them, perhaps. Please.
Oh, no. I do.
And you are clear.